interesting thing that is happening to me, right? I'm leading a healthy life, always in a good space, you know, and everything. And this morning I went to the doctors because I've been coughing, a dry cough. He took an X-ray for me, and it was a specialist of my lungs. And as soon as my lungs appeared on the screen, he said, "You got shrinking lungs." I said, "What does that mean?" I got shrinking lungs. So he wrote it all down, and I came back to check. It's called interstitial lung disease, right?
Sorry, say that again.
Interstitial lung disease, ILD. Okay, so I came back and checked on the internet and thought, wow, this sounds pretty horrendous according to the experts, right? And I said, well, how did my vibrations sink to that level? Because the way we're operating, we're thinking, you know, there is something wrong with you if you drop to a certain vibration. But also remember, before I used to tell you about people who with very severe ailments are always very, very happy. Yeah. So I asked myself, and let's look at it in a new perspective. Now, the new perspective which I came across is the lower self is there to experience what the higher self dishes out. Yeah. So the lower self just goes out and play and enjoy what is being dished out. So I said, okay, so the higher self at an unconscious level or conscious level is giving me this so-called label disease, and my lower self is looking at it and saying, what can I learn from it? And my first thing was, having looked at the internet, I thought, my God, you know, make your 5-year plan, get your house in order, there's no cure, blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, that's the medical profession because they're looking at the symptoms. The symptoms are also like, you know, I'm very tired and all those things. It's there. I said, okay, I totally accept it. I'm not trying to fix it. Total acceptance of what is. Then it dawned on me, now you can really go and put your plan to play about each moment and waking up every morning, being blessed, being alive. Wow, here's an opportunity for what I've been talking about before to come into actual play now. Getting the point? So for me, it's new because I'm a healthy person, right? So the only way is the dark side. I've created the dark side at a higher level to see how I would react to it. So it takes us another level in thinking, oh, you got this disease, that's your lifestyle. No, the higher self can create something else for you to see how you would react to it. Most people would try and fix it. I went in total acceptance. I really understand now what is it like to say, okay, you know, I'm ready to go. What is it like? So I'm living one day at a time. Making sense? Questions? Don't be so serious. It's all a game.
From a medical point of view, are they giving you some medicine or something, or you're not?
From the medical point, I have to go through 5 tests. To start off with, I've been delayed for 1 year for this thing. Every 3 months they cancel me out and put me on. And today, right, I was supposed to have the inspection last February, but every 3 months they put me off. I didn't think anything about it. And today, they say, okay, now we're going to go through a whole list of blood tests to see. There's 200 different types of diseases which is affecting the lungs. So after the blood test, they will go through the scan, and after the scan, they will go through the breathing, and after the breathing, biopsy to decide whether you have a replacement lung or not. But I don't qualify because I'm over 65.
Okay.
So what would happen? Would your breathing kind of get worse, or you're gonna have difficulty breathing?
I don't care. That's the point.
And it's because you don't care, it doesn't manifest anymore, if that's the right word to use. Yeah.
Whatever the universe is trying to dish out to make me go into whatever frame of mind I want to do and what kind of concoction, I totally accept it.
Accept it, yeah. So can I just go back to what you're saying is that it's your higher self
Yes.
that is creating it, because
Yes.
we've got the higher and the lower self. So it's
Yeah.
the higher self that's creating this to
Yes.
see how your lower self will react,
The
because the
lower
lower self
the lower self can only experience it.
experience
That's
it.
all. The
And
lower self
yeah,
is there to
okay.
experience.
And
But
the
that's why, because for higher self there is no bad and good. It's just
It's
is.
different.
Yeah.
And the lower self is going there to say, I hate it, I love it, or what am I going to do with it? But it's just
Gives a meaning, yeah, label and meaning. And
the journey of what the higher self has dished out.
but the lower self can also go into a fear mode.
Of course, then it will send you into wobbly, into writing up my will and doing all sorts of things, preparing to die.
Yeah.
So understand that now, because this for me is a new understanding which has come up through what is happening. Before I say, oh, when somebody's got a disease, they have created it. Yes, but this time the higher self has gone and created the darkness to see how you would get out of it. Any questions?
What a beautiful example. What a beautiful thing to go through.
It is. It's a gift.
It's like it's a gift. It's a fine tuning.
Azada. It's okay. Don't.
Farzana is really worried. Farzana, Arram has been saying things like that for the past 10 years and he's still here.
I know.
Hey,
I know he's still got lots of things to do.
Farzana, a couple of years ago, he was in hospital with punctured lungs, and we were all like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he
Do
came
you
out."
remember that? Do you remember that, Levi? It was just like, right, okay, everybody went into a panic mode. But,
Yeah.
yes,
Did you ever smoke?
Oh, I mean, they go through all that again. Did I smoke it while I'm working with asbestos and all the things that they go through? They're looking for an answer. And I'm thinking, it's okay. And even the cough and the pain that I go through, I just say, oh, okay, dish it out. What else can you do? I said, let me die and lie down. I'm still here, so I'm not meant to go.
no, you're not meant to go yet.
No, you've got a long time still.
The spirit decides when we're going,
Yeah.
not the lower self. They say, I want to die. You won't die. Anyway, I mean, if you get if I go, it's also okay because I'm still here, right? The physical body is not here. All of you can tune into that space, and we're always communicating. Yes, we are spiritual beings, forgetting that we are, we forget that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's the, all the teachings which are, the tools, I call that. If you go through the tools all the time, it keeps you on course. Even the most terrible things that will happen in human life, you will look at it and say, it's another lesson. What can I learn from it?
I always look at it, Arram, as actually like a fine tuning that carries on. And it's endless. It's endless because people often on the spiritual journey think they've reached a ceiling of completeness, but it's infinite. Well, you reach one ceiling, which is the floor, to the next level, and the next level, and you keep going. But the finer tuning, it's like the higher you rise in consciousness, the tests. I'm calling them tests for the sake of conversation, but the whatever we come up, it comes out deeper and stronger and more intense. But it's actually teaching us something even more.
Yeah.
But every time you go kind of not to just understand a human next level, the things that before bothered you, you kind of can even joke about them when you're in the next level.
Yeah. Look at the negative things they're talking about it. I said, but I don't buy it. Right? I'm looking at the cause. What is it teaching me, not the symptoms? And it also it opens the door for all of us, is every time something is happening, is to look at the cause and say, what is it teaching me? Total acceptance of what is.
Well, lungs is normally to do with grief, deep-seated grief. If you haven't cried your tears, and it's the air element, and
that's another tool. All right.
That's another tool.
Look at the Bible.
Yeah. Let's talk.
Arram's not going to buy that, is he?
Yeah. So that is a new lesson for me and for you as well.
What do you think you're learning from it, Aram?
Lots of things, lots of different perspectives. The more I can put into it, the more it gives me another angle, as opposed to just say, you know, one perception. Now I can sit down and add things to it and say, another way, another way, another way, another way. As you say, consciousness is always growing up, and so there is never ending. So it gives me an opportunity to really keep asking questions now, because that's what it is, isn't it? It's expansion to infinity. Even consciousness, God, or whatever it is doing the same thing. It's expanding all the time, isn't it? Never ends. And it teaches us a lesson that this so-called spiritual journey, that those of us that are here, the thing that when we have reached that point, we deluded. We're lying to ourselves because we are created. This is how the journey is. That's not how the journey is, to be in total blissfulness and all that. It is following the joy. Even, you know, I've got this crazy disease. Ha 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 ha. I'm really, you know, excited about it.
Sorry.
SB, how are you?
Oh, because I just go into this, so I wasn't listening first to see what you were talking about. So just to catch up.
Oh, so you just at the end of it. Well, basically what's happening is I got a terrible lung disease, okay? And
you can call it different. You can call it different. Doesn't have to be
difference,
that.
isn't it? But if you look at it, the medical thing, you know, I'm dying. I got 3 to 5 years. That's death.
You don't even smoke, or do you?
There's all.
You don't smoke, do you?
No, it doesn't really matter. The point is, what I was sharing was, no matter how healthy you think you are, your higher self will go and create a situation for you to see how you would react to it. That's it. And so this is a lesson here for all of us.
That's very true. That's what, the more you know, or the more you get your knowledge increase, you get more challenges. All the time, you know.
It's like Neva said, the more you are, the more awakened you are, you have challenges, but they're not any more difficult than they're all just different challenges. That's all, is how you react to it, because the main thing that you understand is you are indestructible. And everything is here for the lower self to experience. And depending on how the lower self experience something, creates your reality in terms of, you know, it's a terrible trip or it's a wonderful trip. So what I'm sharing with you is, in terms of whatever is being put in front of you, when you have that state of mind that is beautiful, circumstances doesn't matter. It's a state of being. Questions? Harriet, how are you?
I'm okay. Yes, I'm better now.
Good. Whatever you have been through was an exciting time. Is how you react to it.
Yeah, it was.
Good.
And I'm very happy and grateful that it happened to me, actually.
Yes. That's how it should be. It is a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, you could not ask for a better experience.
No.
Next thing I wanted to share was everything you think, everything that's happening to you, right? We call it accidents. It's not an accident, it's an awakening. Learn to change the vocabulary now. There is no accident, there is only awakening. Right? And everything that's happening is a reflection of your consciousness. There is nothing out there. So it is always reflecting back to you. You are creating it at a higher conscious level of whatever it is that the lower self is experiencing, the lower self is seeing.
Yeah.
And it's the lower self that's putting the meaning to it. Do you understand? This is another notch to look at. When things are happening, we are creating it now. There's nothing out there. So I'm talking to a group now. So I'm creating six versions of you sitting here with me. You, on the other hand, are sitting down and making 6 versions of what you're seeing.
Yeah, and they're all going to be
making the
different
versions.
according how we perceive it.
Yes. And that is another key to understand that, wow, you know, you're being shown a perception. It's up to you now. If you don't like it, is to change it, because we are creating it. Questions now. This is this point here. We need to expand on this, because it will then unlock more things.
Someone at work today told me, she said, I don't know what is it with you, Anna? You look like you don't care about anything at all. And I said, I'm just okay with everything.
Yeah.
And she said, you always just smile and everything's okay no matter what happens. But you get to that level that you understand what we are talking about now, that it is like that.
It is an illusion, isn't it? The nonsense that we create, and then we can change it. And this is so very important, you know, that finger shaking. What meaning am I giving it? What meaning am I giving it? What is it I'm doing to myself that I'm causing this pain? As opposed to poor me. Yeah? It's changing the vocabulary now. Like
it's also because humans want to always run away from like some kind of experience, what you think is bad, and then when it happens, then you make it even more, you know, you perceive it as bad. But it's, yeah, like you say, everything is just an experience.
But humans are just attention seekers. I've got this, you know. And then the other one will say, I've got something even worse happening to me. You know, it's a competition now. Who's got the worst illness?
Do you remember my auntie who spoke to you, who used to, she's a prime example. I have this auntie who is very lonely. So the only way she can get people's attention is by falling ill with everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then she gets a lot of attention from everybody. So one day I told her to call Arram, and she just put the phone down. because he told her the truth. That was funny.
People don't like to hear the truth. Yeah. Questions?
No, going back to the illusion. No, going back to the illusion thing, because I know I have this difficulty to see the real from the non-real, because when Anna asked as well, we have many things to do as a real things, like paying taxes, looking for a work, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, how not to accept the reality of what we live, or seeing as a subreal when we have to confront these problems every day, or challenges, or whatever. So you just cannot think, oh, it's not real.
You can, because nothing is real. It's you that's gone and given the meaning to it. Nobody can upset you except you. Back to this, isn't it? Am I telling you off? Am I shaking my finger? Or am I blessing you? You choose. You are creating it. You're looking at something and you are giving it your meaning. Somebody help SP on this.
It's like if Arram didn't know what he knows now, and he went to see the doctor today, and the doctor told him he's got a lung disease, Arram would go into a descending spiral of thought, which is illusion. The mind is illusion, and maybe by the end of January, February, he might get lung cancer, one collapsed lung, which would have an effect on his heart. I'm just making up this big story now.
It's okay.
And just, you know, and probably we won't see Arram by May time, and we'll all feel really sorry for him and tell all our stories of how much we really love him and how much we've really known him for. And, oh my God, he's played such a big part in our life. And it would become like, do we want to do that with him? Or do we want to say, Arram, you're fine. And Arram, you can create your story. This is just a trigger that's happened to wake you up even further into the infinite consciousness.
Yeah, but according to Arram, he created it anyway.
His higher self created it for his lower self. His higher self created it for his lower self to experience, to trigger him back into alignment. Because now that we're in 2020, we're all going through major trigger alignments because there's a lot of energy coming onto the planet. There's a lot of things, a lot of shifts taking place.
Yeah.
And so we have to be triggered. We have to be aligned to carry this forward.
But it's interesting how Arram gets like this kind of thing that others would totally fall, you know, like it would be total panic. So you get the bigger kind of trigger, you know, and how you deal with it.
Spiral down, isn't it?
Yeah.
From the story you tell yourself instead of saying, how exciting.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people who have cancer, all they do, they talk about it, but it's all so negative, and it's just you can't get out of it because you are just.
You're talking about it all the time. They're trying to fix it.
Yeah. Talking about it and then even very negative, you know. Not